What's going on, everyone? Thought it'd be a bit easier if I just make a quick video running through all the basics that we're going to need for this trip. A couple of years ago I did climb Snowdon and made quite a few mistakes. Came back down the easy path. I was cold, I was wet, annoyed. Wasn't really a nice experience. So off the back of that I made a number of changes to the next hike that I did to Ben Nevis. So we're going to go through some of the basics, and the key thing that we want to do is stay warm, and we do that by staying dry. Moisture can hit us one of two ways: from the outside via rain, snow, that kind of stuff. So we need a shell to protect us from that. And also, as we're going up there, we will build up a sweat as well. That's going to, cause moisture to build up from within. So it's important that we take that into account when choosing what to wear. So we're going to need, number one, a base layer, the layer closest to the skin. Number two, some mid layers to add some warmth. And number three, an exterior shell to protect us from rain, snow, that kind of stuff. Fingers crossed we won't need it, but best be prepared rather than not. So for your base layer, what I've got is this. It's made out of a synthetic material. In fact, when I was climbing Ben Nevis for the first half of the climb, I was in just this alone. It is a synthetic material, as I said, which basically absorbs moisture from your skin and makes it easier to evaporate off. You want to avoid any material like cotton, which tends to absorb moisture and just retains it. So you don't really want to be walking up with something that's just going to be drenched in your sweat. It's just not going to be pleasant. So yeah, that's the top base layer. Now on the morning I'm going to make a judgment call, and if it is wet, then I'm also going to have a set base layer for the bottoms, again made of synthetic material, or if you have access to merino wool, apparently that's meant to be really good as well for absorbing sweat and then wicking that sweat to the surface and allowing it to easily evaporate. But yeah, if not, just a normal set of base layer trousers, avoiding any cotton. For your actual trousers itself, what you want is something along the lines of these. So this is a set of walking trousers, which is built like jeans, but with a much more lightweight material. So this is actually water resistant as well, so if it is just a light drizzle, it'll deal with it without any problems. If it is a bit of a downpour, you need some additional protection though. But the point is, these are really light, they're really comfortable to wear. In fact, when I go on long haul flights, I usually wear these just because they're so comfortable for long distance journeys. If you don't have a pair of these though, you can use what you'd use for football, any kind of track pants, but again, make sure they're a synthetic material. Ideally, if they are water resistant as well, that would be perfect. Other than that, we're also going to need some thermal socks. You'll need two pairs, one that you're going to be wearing and then another pair that you're going to keep in your bag. On top of that, you'll also need some gloves, and it also makes sense to get some headgear or something, not a hat, but maybe like a beanie, something warm like that you can put on as and when you need it. So that covers what we should be wearing when we initially start the hike. Once we get up there, we'll need to cover the bag. In fact, let me just give you a breakdown on the bag itself. So this is a 35 litre sack. Anything around like 30 to 35 litres should do the trick. It's a really light pack, and the good thing about this one is it comes with a rain cover as well. So this just kind of goes around the edge of the bag if it is raining, and that just keeps all of your stuff dry on the inside. Even if you've got a regular bag, you can carry like a bin liner or something like that. It will do the same job for you if it does start raining. So we've covered the base layers and some mid layers. What I also keep in the bag is another technical base layer, but this is a long sleeve version. So again, just have a couple of these, I would say, on the inside. And also I have a zip up fleece as well, so again it's made of wool and just adds another bit of insulation if it does get a little bit cold on the way up. So that covers the base layers and the mid layers. Now we'll move on to the exterior shell. So if it does start raining heavily, should have easy access to your waterproof jacket. So this is a really light, thin material. You know, it's, if you are cold, you'll have all of the other fleeces and all of that kind of stuff, and this is just designed to keep you dry and it'll go over it. The advantage of having a light layer like this is if it is reasonably warm but it is still raining, you can put on something like that and you know, you're still going to be dry and not too hot as well. Now the problem with waterproof jackets is when you're wearing them and you're sweating from the inside, that sweat does tend to bead and just isn't very nice. So if you do have access to a Gore-Tex jacket, they're meant to be more breathable and designed to sort that problem out. That's not essential, but having a waterproof jacket is. I do have a couple of spare waterproof jackets as well, so let me know if anyone needs one and I'll see if it fits. So that's a waterproof top layer. The other thing I've got is this, which is a set of waterproof trousers. So they're designed to just zip open and so yeah, pop open like so, and they're a set of over trousers. So at the bottom by the feet, they have some pop open buttons designed to make it a little bit bigger, so easier to slip over your boots. So if it is raining heavily, that goes over your trousers and it will keep you dry. Again, they're really light as well, so you know, doesn't have too much weight. So some essential bits there, and I think that covers the clothing element of it. So what else do you need in the bag? You also need to have some food. I recommend having at least 2 of these sandwiches, and also some crisps. I usually take a few of these Nutri-Grain cereal bars. Other brands are available. Yes, and then water, plenty of it. So 2 litres. Probably not best to have just one giant bottle. I would say have 2 1-litre bottles. That way you can keep one in your bag and drink one as you're going along as well. So the other things I've got in here is if it does get really cold and wet, I've got a set of waterproof gloves. These ones are considerably thicker than the other ones that you saw. If you are just bringing one, just make sure that they're waterproof. Yeah, that helps. And then a spare set of socks as well. Again, just in case anything happens to your feet and your socks do get drenched, you've got a spare just in case. The other thing is, as you're going up, there are no bins, and they are a real stickler for littering. So take 2 plastic bags with you, one for litter, one for any clothes that do get wet and you want to keep them separate in your bag as well. Bear that in mind. The other thing that you want in your bag is a power bank if you have one. If you are bringing a power bank, don't forget the cables. One doesn't work without the other. So we also want to be prepared just in case the worst does happen. So if we are stranded without power or anything, I am taking a flashlight with me, just in case. And again, I've got a first aid kit with me too. Fingers crossed we're not going to need half of this stuff, but it's best to be over prepared rather than under. There are no real facilities or anything up there other than a halfway cafe point where potentially you can put on the the under trousers if you are feeling a little bit cold. But other than that, there is no assistance or anything. You can call Mountain Rescue, but realistically that's going to be a good few hours before anyone's coming to help you. The other thing we should touch on is the boots. We mentioned this in the group chat earlier. Key things to consider: something waterproof, something with a solid sole plate. We are going to be going over rocky ground, some loose ground as well. My concern is if it is wet and slippery, you know, trainers just aren't going to cut it. So get something like these. The other thing is to get something with ankle supports, and that will just, if your legs are going in all kinds of different directions, that'll just minimize the chance of getting any kind of ankle sprains or twists or anything like that. It will also open up choices for us in terms of routes that we could go up as well. The easy path, if the weather is bad, you know, it's best to have, you know, be a little bit over prepared with this kind of stuff just in case. And you know, if the weather is good and we choose to go on the slightly harder path as well, again, all of this stuff should be you know, more than enough that will lead to prepare ourselves. So I think that summarizes pretty much everything that we're going to need. If you do get a chance to try and get some cardio in before the actual hike itself, it is going to be a significant walk, maybe about 5 hours or so. The reason I described it as a walk previously is that, you know, if you are prepared in this way, it is going to be relatively easy, whereas if you're ill prepared and you are kind of having to, you know, drench through everything in soaked clothes, it can make things a little bit more difficult. But yeah, that's how I'm preparing for this. That's what I'm going to be taking with me. Any questions, just, you know, let me know. Cool.